Hey, this is Erik Ulven, and today we are going to work on an awesome project. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it all has to do with this piece of shit Epiphone Hummingbird Pro acoustic guitar that's head won't stay on. Now, I had a customer came in, this was broken, pretty much completely off, and we tried to glue it up, pin it a little bit, see if that would hold, but a few days later, lo and behold, head popped back off again. This Hummingbird's head refuses to stay on, and probably has something to do with this feeling as light as a single saltine cracker. I kid you not, this is like the clear coat and the paint have to be heavier than the wood that's actually inside it. Just complete trash. I highly recommend that you stay the fuck away from all of these complete garbage guitars that a certain company feels like putting out all the time. Now, what do we do with a hummingbird that won't keep its head on? We make it a headless. That's right. So, to keep this guitar in commission and without doing all that work, because I know we can make the head stay on if I really want to, but on this guitar, it's really not worth it when I can make this something really special. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna figure out a way to put this on the top of the guitar. I want it to sit somewhere right here on the back, just hanging off like you would on another headless guitar, so that you have all the access to the tuners. I think looks good. That'll be a good break angle. We're going to keep the original bridge and the saddle. We won't need the bridge pins because the strings will go right into here. Dealing with all that tension pulling up on the top, I'm definitely gonna have to add some support to this to make sure that the top just doesn't fly off. I'm gonna take out all of the Fishman electronics that are in here and go with something simple. I love these transducer pickups from companies like this is from Journeys. K&K makes another one. Then we have LR Bags makes another one like that, but the Journeys is about half the price and it still works just as good, not better. The way that I'm going to be playing this guitar live is through a tone match Bose system, so I can EQ it all through that. So I don't need the preamp, I don't need to EQ anything on the guitar because it'll all go through my tone match. So I'm going to remove the pickup out of here. I'm going to remove the preamp, the battery pack to make room for just that transducer pickup to the output jack here. So we'll swap that all out. Up here with the nut, obviously we're going to need a headless nut to hold the strings in place. But also I'm thinking about doing a 0 fret here because I think that's going to be the most comfortable way to do that up here at the nut. I don't have to worry about nut slots. I don't have to worry about the nut wearing out. Yes, I'll have to worry about the 0 fret wearing out eventually, but I would assume that by the time I play this and I'm going to need a refret, which I'm going to be happy about when it needs a refret because I'm going to put some bigger frets in there. I'm going to take off the cheap plastic binding and put some real wood binding in there, but I'm really excited to see how the 0 fret turns out. I think it's going to be a lot more comfortable to play. And then I'm also going to take off this pickguard because I hate pickguards, especially big ones like this. And I'm going to do something different to the top. I'm still brainstorming some ideas, so stick around and see what happens. All right, so to finish this up, you know, I've been sitting with this guitar for a few weeks, playing around with it, looking to still try it out on a gig, so I haven't done that yet, but the more I play this, the more I kind of like it. I thought this was just going to be a kind of gimmicky mod just to salvage the guitar, but I actually like the concept. I'm not a huge fan of headless electric guitars, but this solves a lot of issues that I see as a guitar tech, as a luthier. One of the major things that acoustic guitars, at least here in Florida, I mean I've seen it in a lot of other places too, is all that string tension pulling up on the bridge just pulls that top up and will bow that out, which causes that extra string height. And then also this system has a lot less tension on the neck. So I had this guitar perfectly set up before it broke with the exact same gauge strings and everything. And when I put them on this with the headless system, I needed to add a bunch of relief. The amount of tension actually pulling on the neck is so much less without that headstock on here. So it's saving a lot of tension on the neck, it saves a lot of tension on the top. The only issue here is, you know, the way that this is mounted, and because I have the screws in the back here, which are kind of getting sucked down, they're not, you know, not too bad with the tension. It's more of the tension pulling the bridge this way that I'm having an issue with. It has shifted the bridge forward like you saw earlier in the video. It's gone about 1/4 of an inch, and it's still settling in. I'm still picking up the guitar, needing to tune it a little bit every time, whereas, you know, my other guitars generally like to stay in tune a little better than this. So that's one of the negative issues, but I think going forward I have a solution for that. And another problem that I had early on was that it sounded super bright, and I couldn't figure out why until I had a buddy look at it, and he reminded me that the strings back here will reverberate if they're not dampened. So I took some rubber and just put some rubber underneath the strings here and behind the bridge, back here on the back side as well. And you can hear that they're pretty dampened at that point. So now it sounds and plays pretty much exactly like an Epiphone Hummingbird Pro, which is another probably negative side effect. I'm used to much fuller guitars, much deeper tone, much more resonance. So going forward, I think my goal is to use this as a prototype. I would absolutely recommend doing this mod if you have a guitar that has a broken headstock that you can't afford to fix the correct way, or you're just looking to do something different with it. You see a broken headstock guitar at a flea market or a garage sale, this is a great way to go. Just something different, definitely eye-catching. A lot of my clients are very interested in this setup, and I think I'm gonna try to get an acoustic guitar kit, like a Martin kind of kit, and build a custom block so that this fits on it properly instead of using the tension in the back, and you know, keeping this from sliding forward and using the proper hardware. It would be nice too to have one that is actually wide enough to cover the string spacing here at the saddle. This is a lot narrower, and you know, as I mentioned before, I had to file the slots in for the strings to keep them where they need to be. So I'd prefer not to do that if I don't have to. So going forward, it would be nice if I can find one with the correct string spacing, so I'll be on the lookout for that as well. If I was going to make an acoustic guitar with the intention of it being a headless, I have so many cool ideas on how to make that possible, and to make it cool, make it interesting. For some reason, this looks cool to me. I love the strings on the back. You know, I don't really miss having a headstock. It just works up here too. So I think I'm ready to dive down the rabbit hole, and if you're interested in this stuff too, please follow and subscribe. Follow me on social media to get updates on where I take this next.